Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the weekly Tottenham News Review, where I'll be going through all the main Spurs news, rumours and reports. My name's Lee The Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. There's been a fair few stories going on over the course of the last week, so I'm just going to pick out a few of the bigger ones and comment on these. So David Ornstein at the beginning of the week said that Newcastle United made an offer for Lucas Bergvall for £46 million, but that was turned down. We are aware, of course, that Nottingham Forest were looking at 38 million and so on, so it kind of sparked a little bit of a discussion about where he would be better going and what kind of fee he should be going for. There's lots of talk about him wanting to go and wanting regular game time, all that kind of stuff, but to date nothing seems to have happened about it, and Bergvall has gone on tour with the rest of the squad, so potentially could be that the deal's already done and he's just going out to get sharper and so on before the deal is actually announced. So we'll see how that one goes. But for me personally, I'm hoping that he doesn't move on. I'd rather he stayed and fought for his place. I think there will be opportunities. We know that there'll be injuries. We know that there'll be suspensions. We know that there'll be players that are not working or the game's not right for them or whatever. So having him available would be the right thing for me. We've got cup games as well. So for me, I do hope that Bergvall stays. I do think he is a good player for the future. Probably used a little bit more than we would really want him to at this stage in his career. But, you know, we'll see how that pans out. Teddy Sheringham spoke a little bit about Christian Romero. He said, I wouldn't want to play against Christian Romero. He might be a bit of a loose cannon, but he's a really good player. You've got to be careful what you're doing if you're Tottenham, just getting rid of him because he's had a bad spell. He could go somewhere like Barcelona, Real Madrid and really hit it off and be really good. And he also said, which I thought was quite good, I played with Roy Keane and he got plenty of red cards in his time, and you've got to have your leaders and your naughty players sometimes to stamp things out. Otherwise, people will walk all over you. But it's got to be done in the right way. I think the problem with Christian Romero is he's not done himself any favours in terms of how it appears that his injuries happen and he's over those injuries as soon as it comes to playing for Argentina. And in this story about him going over for medical grounds to Argentina at the same time that the club he supports were playing for the championship and missing the last game of the season, that's really not done Romero any favours whatsoever. But you have to be honest. Christian Romero is a very, very good footballer. He's a very good player and a tough guy who can make things happen. Scored plenty of goals for us as well. So I don't think you can just wash your hands of a player like Christian Romero. I think he will go on somewhere else and be absolutely fantastic. And I do believe that he gets a bad press because of his reputation. So for me, I do think that if you can get him right in terms of how he's coming across, and if you can get the referees to kind of, you know, look at everybody in the same light and give him the same leeway that they give other players, then I think we've got a good player in there. But listen, it's just my opinion. I know lots of people are keen to see the back of him and looking at a new start. And there are obviously a lot of centre-backs in the squad now. So we'll see what happens. Gary Mabbott sustained a leg injury whilst he was on holiday in South Africa, recovering well, resting with his family in Johannesburg, just waiting for clearance to be able to fly back. That's medical clearance, not international clearance or anything like that. So yeah, sad news, because obviously Gary Mabbott is an absolute legend at the club, as well as being a really good liaison with the fans and so on, phoning them up for birthdays and stuff like that. So a great guy who no one wants to see not very well, especially when you consider in this week we lost Kevin Keegan. I know that's not Spurs related, but losing Kevin Keegan, who's an absolute, for me anyway, an icon of the game, top English player. Loved the way he played, his passion and so on. And so players of that kind of age, getting towards that sort of time, it's sad to see this sort of thing happening to them, showing their age and so on, and reminding us that we're getting older as well. So the story about Savinho, that's not going away. Romero talking about it. As far as he's concerned, he's our number 1, number 2, number 3 target for that left-sided position. I know we've talked about Cody Gakpo as well as others, but we're just waiting for Man City to get a replacement. So I don't know. Bearing in mind they've got an umpteen players who can play in that position, seems a bit of a strange one that we're having to wait. But yeah, I don't know. Sheringham as well was talking a lot about strikers. Richarlison, he really liked Richarlison. He liked the effort he put in and all the rest of it, and the work rate, because he's been through it with Everton. And he was our top goal scorer last season. And he's also suggesting that Dominic Solanke could do better, and if De Zerbi really gets hold of him, he could make him into a far better player. So we'll have to see how that one pans out as well, because clearly from our point of view, we want a world-class striker. I don't think there's many out there, to be honest. For me, I think there's only one, and that's Harry Kane, and I'd love to see him come back. But do we think that's ever going to happen? Probably not. I think Kane will probably see out his contract at Bayern Munich and then move on to Spain, somewhere like that, get a couple of Spanish trophies under his belt and see if he can get that elusive Champions League, which obviously he's not going to get at Tottenham. But if we do get this squad together and we do start doing well and we can get ourselves into the Champions League, then you never know what could happen, because I would absolutely love to see Harry Kane back at Tottenham. What about you? What do you think? Who else are you going to get? Who else is a top quality striker who's out there at the moment who you think Spurs should get? So, of course, we saw the end of the World Cup and Pedro Porro became a world champion after Spain win over Argentina, where obviously Cristian Romero and Marcos Senesi were both in that squad. But he put in some great performances over the course of the World Cup, done his standing, no harm whatsoever. So really good for Pedro Porro. He's coming back as a world champion. So we've had a world champion in the last 3 World Cups with Hugo, Cristian Romero and now Pedro Porro. So yeah, really good for him. That will give him a lot of confidence. And he also signed a long-term contract extension, so he will be with us for a bit longer. And of course, if he is to go somewhere else, then it's going to cost someone a big fee. So that's all good. Tynan Thompson, the 18-year-old winger who was in our academy, has been sold to Manchester United. So he's moved over there. So again, not a player who's played for the first team or been in the squad. Not going to impact us. A little bit of a shame losing an 18-year-old academy player. So not always good to see that. But as has been said previously in different kind of podcasts and stuff, the academy is there to support the first team, whether that be playing for the support team to the first team, or whether that is to be sold to provide funds for the first team. So that's what's happening there. Stuart Lewis has joined our first team academy transition coach. Oh no, we can announce that Stuart Lewis, our first team academy transition coach, has left the club and taken on a role at Ipswich. So he was with us for 11 years. And won the under-17s, under-18s Premier League Cups and so on. So good luck to him going out there. And this was the one that I was getting confused with, because we are delighted to announce the arrival of Andrew Crofts to Roberto De Zerbi's staff as assistant head coach. Just got those two mixed around the wrong way. A former midfielder who played in the Premier League with Norwich and racked up over 450 appearances for Gillingham, Wrexham, Charlton and Brighton. Andrew is now reunited with Roberto, having spent time together at Brighton. So it looks like the coaching team is now in place and all sorted exactly what Roberto De Zerbi wanted. He's got what he wants. Will Lankshear has moved on and gone to play for Middlesbrough, upwards of £20 million deal. Again, £10 million to start with, but then they got 20% a sell-on fee, and we've got matching rights as well. So if he turns out to be absolutely fantastic and someone wants to buy him, we can match that fee and he can come back to Tottenham, of course, if he really wants to, or we can get the add-on fee and so on. So again, really good bit of business. We were upwards of over 100 million now in terms of sales from players that are not impacting the first team. So some really good business there. We've always been criticised for not buying players at the right time, but we've also been criticised for not selling players at the right time. So this could be the right time for him. Let's be clear, the same people that were going to be moaning about him being sold are the same people that are moaning that he wouldn't be good enough to be our first choice or second choice. So, you know, you kind of have to stick to your lane. Which are you going for? Stick to your lane and go with it. But it's a done deal. He's moved on. Those in charge of the club have decided it's the right decision. So we'll see if that pans out. But we've protected ourselves a little bit. And then obviously we had our first pre-season game already. This one against MK Dons behind closed doors at the training facility. I didn't see the game, I've got to be honest. Tried to watch it on Spurs Play, which was absolute pants and didn't work. So I wasn't able to see it, but did see the goal from Matheus Fernandes, which has kind of been doing the rounds all around, and fantastic goal. Despite what TalkSport Gabby Agbon-Lahore has commented about it, despite his bitterness, thought it was a brilliant goal, well taken, and can't wait to see him banging them in against some of those teams in the Premier League in the coming season. Fingers crossed. And finally, just to finish off, Tottenham Hotspur have moved on and are flying out to New Zealand and Australia for our pre-season tour. 35 players have gone out there. Most of the first team squad are there, lots and lots of young players as well, so lots of young players will obviously get minutes out there. Couple of strange ones, I guess. Manor Solomon has gone on that tour, knowing that he's not wanted by the club, so it's very strange for him to be going on that. Maybe that's just to give him a little bit of game time, to put him in the shop window maybe. I think it's a bit of a shame because I think he's a decent enough player. But yeah, so a bit of a strange one there. And of course the same with Lucas Bergvall. If he is looking to move on or looking to be moved on, then it seems strange that he's going on that tour. But like you say, could just be to get match sharpness and so on, and maybe it's part of the negotiating tactics. That maybe the deal's not done quite yet. And they want to show him what they can get. Lots of absentees, obviously. Kudus, Simmons, Kulusevski, Odegaard, all getting rehabilitation still as we get ever closer to that start of the season. Xavi Simons, Wilson Odegaard will definitely be out. They won't be playing for quite a while yet. I'm hoping that Kudus is going to be back soon. Although it's been a while, he's been out for an awful long time with this quad problem. But the other one as well, Kulusevski, you know, is he ever going to come back? Is he ever going to play football again? It'd be really interesting to see that. But of course, Rodrigo Bentancur and Pat Matar have been left out as well, given extra time to recover from the World Cup. Bentancur allegedly due to his injury issues and wanting to give him more time. So, okay, does make sense, doesn't it? Of course, unless he's the midfielder who's going to go. But anyway, it's all just in the air at the moment. We don't know once or for sure what's actually happening, and we won't know until it's announced or until someone does a here we go. So anyway, listen, that's it from me. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'm Lee The Dorset Spur. Be good to have you say hi on my channel if you could. If not, no problem. I'll see you on the next one. And as always, up the Spurs.